Kevin.
Wow. What?
You get this only nowhere else but you, Kevin and Zach. Kevin, I'm not going to lie.
Now we're not gonna a carved penguin. There it is.
Oh no. Are the O's fine? Are the Orioles fine, Kevin?
Okay. The Orioles stole it. That game was stolen. It was stolen from them, then they stole it right back.
What?
Oh my
God. Wait, what's going on? What is happening?
What is going? Was it a diving play? He bobbled the play.
What is happening? Are they challenging him? No. Other wall. No.
Kevin, I don't know what you saw, how much you saw. I've been chugging champagne. Sure, I spilled a lot, but what a game, man.
He will be the legendary
Birdfish.
How about that?
Birdfish fans, stand up. We did it.
What can I say? What can I say?
Kevin, I'm bringing you right on. So you good? All right, Kevin Ostrecker. Kevin. It's always at the best times. You're on Locked On. Yeah, but I guess maybe is this our first Kevin and Zach react of the baseball season? Day one.
We shouldn't even be talking right now because our two basketball teams are playing right now. So I can't even look at you right now. I can't.
Kevin,
this is a rivalry.
Yeah, there's some mad beef going on right now.
I know.
It looked like there was mad beef going on between the Orioles and signing starting pitchers, but we finally got the answer to that. Chris Bassitt, 1 year, $18 million deal. It's not Framber Valdez. It's not Ronher Suarez. It's not Michael King, Dylan Cease.
It's not. Look, you can chalk it. It's not Nick Pivetta. It's not.
It's not. Well, hopefully it becomes Nick Pivetta. But Kevin, it's not a big signing. But I think it's a solid sign. I think there is a very big difference between, hey, it's not one of those guys they threw in the towel. They didn't get anybody. I mean, coming off last year, 32 games, a 3.96 ERA, 170 innings pitched, ERA plus of 108. Listen, it's not the sexy signing. It's not the guy, like I said, that everyone was pounding the door for. But it's a guy that is going to eat innings, 170 last year. He's reliable. And most importantly, I think he's a veteran in the clubhouse, in the rotation, that you can rely on to keep you in games. He has been solid throughout his entire career. I mean, a career ERA of 3.64.
Yeah.
I mean, he has had 1 year in 2014 where he had a 4.16 ERA. He's only had 1 year since 2018 above a 4. So,
yeah.
Hey, I'm not complaining. They needed another arm. They got another arm.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, look towards because was Morton 10 million or was he like 16? I can't even remember what his number.
I think he was 15.
So this being 18 and a half or around that. The big thing that you want from a guy who, again, like has put together an extremely solid career. You mentioned the ERA. It's the availability aspect of it. And to have kind of a swing guy here that, because again, like ideal season for Bassitt is that he's not relied upon heavily. You know, that's kind of what the problem was with Tomo and Charlie Morton was there were so many different types of injuries that happened for them early where all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, Charlie's going to be your 5th guy and Tomo's going to be like your 4th guy. All of a sudden they were like 2 and 3 and they were being relied upon for a ton of innings, a ton of high leverage starts. And so ideally for Bassitt, he can be a guy that comes in and just is more of like a reliable, steady swing guy towards the back half of your rotation, or just someone that you can try to find different roles for without switching everything up too much, obviously. But since 2022, he's pitched in 30 plus games. I mean, he started 30 plus games, 30 in 2022 with New York. Then obviously with Toronto, the last 3 career high 33 games started in 2023, and then 31 each in the past 2 seasons. So again, like we know that with some of these guys, for example, like a Bradish, who you hope can stay healthy for a full season, and that's obviously what everybody wants.
Yeah.
But, you know, you have to take into account that, hey, guess what? Injuries happen in baseball. I mean, just look at today. I mean, injuries happen in baseball. Yeah. So you want to have as much depth as possible. And, you know, yes, like, is it disappointing it's not Framber or one of these top end guys? Like Gallen would have been cool. But, you know, once Valdez went off the board and, you know, it felt like there was a lot of smoke around him and Gallen, but then it felt like a lot of that cooled, especially after Valdez signed him. I was like, oh, well, Gallen makes sense. But it was also like, okay, what about the Cubs or Diamondbacks or any of these other teams that could potentially sign him? It's disappointing they didn't go out and get the frontline guy. Like, I'll just say that right now. Like, it is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, essentially what this tells me, and based off of what Mike Elias has said about him, they really like Shane Baz. They really are betting on him becoming that like number 1, number 2 guy in that rotation. And again, like obviously when everyone's healthy, Bradish is going to be that ace for you. Like we know that Bradish is that good, but you're hoping that Trevor can continue on what he was able to do. I mean, look, if I think Ryan said it on today or yesterday's show or one of the two, where like if Trevor does what he did last season for a full season, he's going to be the Cy Young winner and the best pitcher in baseball. Like it's just that just is what it is. But in reality, getting depth doesn't hurt you. It's why a guy like bringing back Eflin on his deal was fine because it's just depth. And we went through this conversation a couple of years ago where they had 7 guys in that rotation that could have pitched for him. By the time the season ended, there were like 3 of them that were healthy. And that was the big, they weren't prepared for that with all the injuries. This time around, I think they are. So yeah, you know what? I am disappointed that they weren't able to land a frontline starter, one of those top end guys. But maybe with a 1-year deal here, I mean, my hope in this situation is that maybe they're just waiting until next offseason with that pitching staff, with that pitching free agent market. But again, like how many times do we have to say that every single offseason to be, oh, maybe next year. Like at some point it has to be the year. So again, I'm kind of indifferent on the signing, to be honest. Like I think he can be a valuable asset to this team, but of course he is not that frontline guy that everybody was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not the frontline guy. And that's what kind of is unfortunate about it is we kind of all got your hopes up because of how they talked. They were talking about, oh, we have Valdez. Oh, we're going for Suarez. You know, Michael King. You know, oh, are they in talks for Freddie Peralta? You know, is a Mackenzie Gore going to get there? Is a Cabrera or Alcantara from Miami? And then you get Chris Bassitt, a 37-year-old pitcher, and it does kind of feel underwhelming. But it's a guy who is reliable. He's going to go out there, and I've seen people talk about it, he's going to eat innings. You know, he is going to eat innings, and I think he does slide in probably to this 3 or 4 spot. But I think that this also brings up the question of, you know, we talk about 5-man rotation. Do they go to a 6-man rotation? I think if I were to bet to start this off, Zach Eflin maybe is, I don't want to say he's out of the rotation, but it's going to rely on his health. Does he start on the IL? Does he start, you know, and stay back in spring training? It's all going to depend on where he is and his body is. But I also don't know, like, do you have a 6-man rotation? Like, maybe, you know, I'm looking at it, and I don't think it's the worst thing of all time. I don't think it's the worst idea, especially when we've talked about the injury concerns of Zach Eflin, Shane Baz, Kyle Bradish, Trevor Rogers. Well, Rogers being more, can he replicate? But a lot of question marks. Obviously, Chris Bassitt at 37. You know, do you try a 6-man rotation? Do you try to limit how often guys are pitching to probably prioritize health or anything like that? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's where they're rolling with this. I'm not sure, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm more open to it than I thought I would be when I initially heard you say the words 6-man rotation, you kind of explaining it, because I do think that like there are two sides of the coin with this, of like obviously injury preservation and getting guys right every 6th day and whatnot, but also like not having Bradish out there every 5th day or Rogers every 5th day or whatnot, and limiting how much time they actually do have out there is, you know, you want your best players or your best pitchers out there on the mound whenever you can have them. But like, to me, yes, you know, for Eflin proving that he's healthy, right? I think that's going to be the big thing. I wouldn't be shocked if he starts in a more of a longer type of role. And then, you know, as the year goes on and it evolves. But again, like, having the options is what really makes this big here for the Orioles. It's like you have the options if someone goes down or someone's not performing well to say, okay, we don't have to panic. You have another guy that can really make an impact.
Yeah. And, you know, that's really all this is you're trying to find a guy that can go out there and just get you wins. I mean, how many times last year, and I know, you know, yes, you got to get young guys opportunities and stuff, but you know, big game, they need to stack series wins and stuff. And you've got Kade Povich and those guys trying to figure it out at the major league level, trying to just claw and scratch their way back into this division. And it wasn't happening. So you get another guy in here who he's going to have the opportunity and he's going to be trusted with the opportunities to help this team stack wins, to help this team get back to where they should have been last year, which is fighting for the division, fighting for a wild card, being in the race. Instead, you know, because of injuries, because of people having down years, next thing you know, you're too far behind. I think this signing, it's depth. We've talked about on the Ryan Ripken show 100 times over the past few weeks, but even if they weren't going to get a top line guy, they needed another pitcher. They needed another starting pitcher, because after Kramer, you were looking at the young guys again. And I don't know if you can necessarily trust them without it being more question marks. You have guys like Bradish, like I mentioned, Baz, like I mentioned, Eflin, like I mentioned, who are battling, you know, coming off of injuries, who have had things happen before. And just in general, guys are going to get beat up. It is 162 games. Guys are going to miss time, whether it's for this, that, or the other, whether it's 1 week, 3 months, the whole season. People are going to miss time. So the more quality pitchers you have, the better. You know, that's just the simple fact about it. The more quality pitchers and starting pitchers that you have, that you can go out and say, okay, we trust you to get a win. That's how over the course of 162, you look back and then suddenly like you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, I feel like it's tough not having that frontline guy. Depth is obviously very important. I'm more curious about the bullpen and how that's going to go this season. You know, obviously getting in a guy like Helsley helps, and, you know, him being the guy for, you know, with Felix being down for the season, or at least for a long time, that bullpen is going to be really interesting because, you know, again, like the Blaze Alexander deal makes more sense after you hear about Westburg and obviously with the holiday, but that happened, I think, after Alexander was traded. So, you know, it's whatever. But, you know, I was excited about Kate Stroud. Like, I thought it was going to be really intriguing to watch. And, you know, that's a bullpen arm that I think a lot of people were excited for. You know, Eflin is someone that, yes, potentially could be a long reliever guy. But that bullpen, honestly, to me, is more of the like, all right, let's see how this thing goes. Because, you know, like, I don't know. Do you have the bullpen sheet, Zach, like that?
Yeah,
we can pull up. Because I think that's another big conversation of like, yes, this rotation, assuming Trevor Rogers and Kyle Bradish can be like at their peak, Yeah, okay, maybe they'll be all right. But you have to wonder about the stuff with Bradish's health because you know how good he is when he's healthy. But
Yeah.
like again, when they traded for Corbin, the reason I was so excited about that was because you had like essentially 3 number 1 or number 2 guys that you felt really good about in Burns, Bradish, and Grayson. Now, again, we all know what happened there with the injuries and whatnot, but this year it feels like again a lot of banking on guys, which again can help you. But I think you would have been able to do that with a lot more comfortability had you gotten someone, I'm just going to say Corbin. I'm not saying he was available, but just like a Corbin type of guy that can come in there every 5th day and just absolutely shove for it. And that's not to say Bradish can't do that. Not to say Trevor can't do that or any of these guys can't do that, but you're wondering what they're going to look like for a full season. That's the big thing. So I'm indifferent to the Bassitt move itself. I think again, like best case scenario, he comes in and just is a very consistent.
Best case, he has a 3.7 ERA. Best case, he has a 3.7 ERA.
Solid mid-rotation arm for you. Worst case, he's another Charlie Morton. Like that's what it is, and that scares me because I think with Charlie, we're kind of saying the same thing, and what happened, but. Yeah, it's just I wish they had a frontline guy, especially with you right, Zach, the way they talked about it this offseason. And the tone kind of shifted from, we know, and the priorities to, no, not a big deal. And that's like, okay, well, I think it's just kind of shifted based off what actually played out. So that's interesting. We had the bullpen graphic here. You're relying, and the Tyler Wells stuff too from Elias, Zach, because I know you talked about it with Rip, but like, what are your thoughts on the whole Tyler Wells preparing him to do this?
Well, especially now with Bassitt, they better keep Wells' ass.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's no reason that he should be touching the starting mound while you have Chris Bassitt. I mean, he is a guy that this bullpen does not look great after you get past Helsley, Kittredge. Obviously, Aiken has his moments. He'll have stretches where he looks unhittable, stretches where he's giving up a homer every other pitch. Like he's a very hot and cold pitcher. Yennier Cano, massive X factor. Is he going to be a 7 ERA guy where you just assume the worst every time his number is called, or is he going to go back to even a guy that you trust in the 8th inning? I mean, if he comes out there and suddenly he goes back to a 2.3 ERA guy, his dominant self, Yennier Cano makes this bullpen look a whole lot better. Dietrich Enns, end of last year, dude was probably the most reliable guy in the bullpen. He was the guy you wanted out there. Same with Rico Garcia. I mean, there's a lot of question marks, but adding Tyler Wells in there, who absolute bulldog, we've seen him, people forget in 23, first half before his arm got tired and, he was overstretched. He was the best pitcher on the Orioles by far. And he has the stuff, I think, out of the bullpen, he's going to be really good. I think that he's a guy who's going to be able to also take it up a notch in the bullpen. We're going to see the fastball rise in velo. I just think he's one of those guys where he makes that bullpen a lot more sound. And I mean, the bullpen, again, it's all going to come down to how these guys step up. And there's going to be injuries. By Kevin, middle of August, will be on that rotation of every 3 games they're debuting another random guy.
You and I are coming out of that bullpen.
Yeah, like that's going to happen. So, like, you just need more pieces.
Yeah,
you
can
never have too much.
Where, I mean, this is an older-ish bullpen, when it comes to some of these guys, right? Like, that's a big point of, like, in this graphic, no one under 30, almost 31 years old. And there aren't necessarily a ton of long-term pieces here, which again, like is what it is. I thought Stroud could have been that for them, but it is what it is. You have guys in the minor league system that can come up and make impacts. We're probably going to see that, but again, it does concern me with the bullpen in terms of some of these, I don't want to say unproven options, but unproven in terms of what they can provide. Like Cano is like, you're right, such a wild card in terms of what he can bring to the table. Can Dietrich Enns actually come in and do what he did a little bit for the Orioles last season, or was that more so a mirage? For Kittredge, him being almost 36, he found himself, but what is that going to look like? Wells coming off the injury, I have a lot of confidence in Tyler Wells, but coming off of all that injury, what's it going to look like for him? There's a lot of question marks there, but a big question mark for me, actually, this, like, where is Kade Povich's role on this team anymore? Like, what is this just like you got to trade him at this point? Like, there's not a role for him for me right now.
I mean, he's going to start in the minors, I'd assume. I mean, but here's the thing. They don't have another lefty outside of Rogers in the rotation. He's going to get opportunities to start this year.
Yeah.
I think he starts in the minors. Like, I just think he's probably too good for AAA. I don't know. It depends on how he pitches in the spring. Maybe they like what they see. Maybe they think he's taking a step. But let's be honest. You don't want him in a 6-man rotation, or a 7th man. Like, you're not going to that. You're not kicking anyone in the rotation out for Kade. And let's be honest even more. If somebody in the rotation were to, like Zach Eflin, not be ready for some reason for opening day, you just go to a 5-man rotation. I don't think they're marrying and committed to like a 6-man no matter what. So you don't kick anyone out of the rotation. Is there someone here that you're kicking out? With what we know right now, obviously injuries once again, but like this group right here, I don't think so. I think he's got to start in AAA.
Yeah.
I don't see any other way. McDermott, same thing. He's going to be a reliever, but I think he starts in AAA.
Yeah. And again, like, depth is a good problem to have, but some of these guys, it comes down to like, are they like, I think Kade is probably better suited in a trade at this point. Like, and I don't know if that's before the season, but I think just packaging him for something. And again, like, that's a conversation that is obviously big about Kobe. And again, I think Kobe deserves an opportunity, but like, it just becomes like, where are the roles or the everyday? Because again, a lot of what we talk about is consistency, right? Like, when Kobe started getting consistent at bats, oh, hey, this guy's pretty good. We knew this guy was pretty good, but he wasn't getting the consistent at bats. He was getting yanked between the minors and the majors, and it was messing with him, I'm sure. And so for some of these guys, it's like, if you can't give them consistent opportunities, give them a fresh start and get a guy in a position of need. Like, trading Povich for a decent reliever makes a lot of sense for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you can put him in a bullpen, but I think that he's just better suited on a different team starting. And it's not to be saying I don't like Kade. Like, I think Kade is talented, and he's had some great moments and he's had some rough moments, as every young player does. But trading him at this point, if you can get somebody a long-term controllable reliever, and then that's probably assuming they would go and get someone on the market next offseason. Again, like, next offseason. But
same thing over and over, it feels.
Then if you get a middle, long, controllable reliever, someone that can step up in that moment who is mid-20s, I'd sign me up for that.
Yeah, and, that's the thing is about, we talk about what the value of a guy is. I just don't, who is, like we've talked about, unfortunately, who's Kade Povich fetching you? And that's the unfortunate part right now of like, okay, so you got to go pair him with other guys, which isn't a massive deal. But as we've talked about, I mean, the Blaze Alexander thing makes a whole lot more sense now, but I'd also like to have Cade Stroud in here. Like, that would, I would love the upside of that. I love Rico Garcia, but like Cade Stroud, when you talk about the years, the youth, everything, like, there's higher upside there. Like I said, Yennier Cano is going to be the big wild card of this group. But then, back to the Povich thing. Yeah, maybe he gets you someone that's better than bad Yennier Cano. It's like that's kind of the unfortunate spot they're in, because you also don't want to just trade him because
I'm not giving him away for anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you're also, like we said, there's going to be injuries. And like, then all of a sudden in 3 months, you're like, damn, I really wish we would have Kade Povich here to eat these 2 games.
Yes.
And then you find, so like, it always comes back around. I mean, we're at the point where I'm kind of accepting this is probably the squad, and they're going to make so many pickups off the waivers and stuff as guys get DFA'd throughout camps. I'm sure this will change 100 times.
Mhm.
But I see people asking, Kevin, I'll get your opinion as well. Like people asking about, is this the last move the O's make? Big move, probably. Maybe like outside of a trade involving Mayo or Mountcastle, but now I don't think you can trade Mayo because you got to figure out what's happening at third base with Westberg, and if Westberg's got to play second, like there's a lot of questions there. So now you can't just give him away. Barring a trade involving Ryan Mountcastle to maybe get a reliever, I don't think I see another major big-ish move from the Orioles.
Yeah, probably not right now. I feel like, again, if you add another starter, then you're just pushing guys further down and into
7-man rotation. You pitch once a
which
week.
you're he's got a 10 man.
Everyone gets a day. Everyone gets a day.
It's a 14 man. Get everybody in there every 2 weeks.
If everyone, and if there's no game on your specific day, you just miss your spot in the rotation.
Yeah, just because
we'll do like college. Friday. So Bradish is always the Friday guy. Then you got Rogers on Saturdays. We'll give Eflin Sundays.
Who likes to pitch at the day?
Actually, no. We got to find. We got to get Pigtown Sports on that. Find out who's the best day pitcher.
Day pitch. Yes, get the Sunday 1:35 games going, or the Sunday like 11 a.m. games, which have no business being.
Oh
games.
My gosh, the Apple TV games. God, Kevin, I can't wait to be pissed off about that.
Yeah,
I cannot.
I wake up and the Orioles have already played.
Yeah, I cannot wait to be pissed off about 11:30 a.m. Apple TV games. I would love Michael Kopech. Oh, I would love it.
But I think this was their guy. Like, adding another starter for as much as I want them to go get somebody else, just talking about it from a construction perspective and like what I think they're thinking. I think that this was their guy. So
yeah. Well, this was who their guy became.
Well, yes.
Listen, okay.
Play on whatever, A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever it was.
Listen. First off, we are not trashing Fuji here. This is not going to go on this stream. This is a strict no Fuji trash talk stream. You can trash talk anybody else that has ever been associated with the Orioles. We do not trash Fuji here. And it's the Roku game, not the Apple TV game. Kevin, I forget what we were talking about when that's what I was saying. Okay. I'm going to give the Orioles, and people don't come at me. I understand people aren't going to like what I'm about to say. I genuinely think that they had the best deal for Suarez. Red Sox pissed that they missed out on Bregman. They pivot and get Suarez. If Bregman goes back to Boston, I genuinely believe Suarez is here. I don't think he really wanted to be here, but I think he would have just taken the contract. Valdez, I think they gave a really good offer to. Didn't take it. It's unfortunate because prior we could sit here and talk ourselves into that Chris Bassitt was plan B, but with reports and everything, we know pretty well they were in on every other pitcher that then signed to Chris Bassitt was pretty much plan D. I think, and now trust me, this was usually plan A in recent years. So I'm happier about that, but I'd be lying if I said I don't. It doesn't make me sad knowing that this year it wasn't because of lack of effort. That almost hurts more because it's usually we could just live in that delusional world of if they tried to get him, they would. We didn't try, but if we tried, they could have gotten him. Now we tried and we still didn't get him. So just plan D.
Yeah. Matt's cracking me up saying Matt's comments on Fuji said 103. Wow. Well, that one, yes, but him saying about Fuji 103 miles an hour and gas, not knowing which direction it was going, Pure art.
If the pitcher doesn't know where it's going, there's no way the batter does.
You know what? That's very true.
Kevin, I'll never forget. First game Fuji pitched, I believe, was against the Phillies. I want to say it was against the Phillies or the Rays.
Yeah.
Someone can fact check this. This would be awesome. Want to say it was Phillies, and he gave up on the first batter, I think, this cheap bloop shot homer to left field. And I'll never forget, I was like, damn, that is so unfortunate. I'll have to look this up now.
Yeah, I see Hunter saying Peralta 2027, or I'm not a fan anymore. Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is like, how many times do we have to say it's going to be next offseason for this team with especially when they were very clear in saying like priorities of the pitcher. So,
just because I'm looking. Remember Fuji man, the Fuji fan?
Yes, I do.
It was electric.
Well,
I'm looking at Fuji highlights trying to find this out, and I'm just.
can't you just go to his game logs? You know what? Let's fire up the draft lottery simulator. Day one of spring training. Fire it up.
Where are we? Yeah, okay. That was a good thought
season.
process. I am.
Here we go. 2027. I'm doing it right now. Sim the lottery.
Well, no, it was. Oh my gosh! You're actually. Where do we go?
Oh, I got the second pick on my second try.
No way.
Remember when I called Ike Irish?
Oh yeah, no. So it was against. It was. Just want to say this is. I don't like to pat myself on the back too much, but first two outings were in the same series back-to-back days against the Rays. His third outing was against the Phillies. He also lost that one.
So electric.
That was so much fun. Man. That was so much fun. The Fuji era.
Is he still pitching?
I have no clue. Oh, Kevin, I guess we can react to this. Sugano in Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like I'm happy he got another opportunity.
Love the opportunity.
But yeah, we obviously all know what that park is. And
Kevin, I do this in the most loving way possible because you know I love me some Tommy Sugar. He may give up the most home runs in baseball history in a single season.
Yeah.
And I feel awful. And like, not only that, he's playing the Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks, Giants in his division. Like there is there's not enough movement there. Like that's the unfortunate. Like there's just, and it's like he doesn't have a slider. Like he's just throwing fastballs at 93 and a sinker or in a splitter, and like they don't always split. Like we could be looking at the most home runs given up in a major league season, and I hate that for Tommy.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's not the case, but yeah, that park is not going to be great for him.
That park's going to suck. Like that if I say this every year right before the draft when like trade deadline. If I'm a prospect and I get traded to the Rockies and I'm a pitcher, like where is my career going? Like because even a good pitcher, like the best pitchers the Rockies have ever had, they'll be like, oh, they have a 2.4 ERA on the road and a 4.9 at home. Like it's impossible. Ubaldo Jimenez, give him all the shit you want about what happened in Baltimore. That year in Colorado was one of the greatest feats a pitcher's ever had. Well, first half.
He parlayed that. He parlayed that. Was it the first half in Cleveland or second half in Cleveland? He parlayed into that deal with Baltimore. I think it was this.
God, second. That was definitely second.
Yeah. Jeez.
I gotta look up his stats real fast.
We're just going down memory lane here.
Yeah, we really are. Welcome to Kevin and Zach React. If you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button.
We talked a lot about Bassitt.
Yeah. I'm just,
still talking Orioles.
Yeah, so that year in Colorado, He had a few. Oh yeah, the 2010. He was the third in Cy Young voting. He started the All-Star game, I think. Had a 2.88 ERA in 33 games. Where are the home away splits?
Sheesh.
I got the home away splits. What's a guy got to do to get some Ubaldo Jimenez home away splits? Found them.
Well, we're really in the sicko era of this stream right now.
Yeah, what's a guy got to do? Home away. Where is this? Oh, this is not what I needed.
Remember when Buck put in Ubaldo instead of Bob? Never forget.
We're not going down that far memory lane. All right, here we go. He had a 2.63 ERA at away and 3.19 at home, so he's just dominated. Good for you.
Insane.
You know it's a good stream when we're 35 minutes in and I'm on Baseball Reference looking up home.
This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about.
Ubaldo Jimenez. This is why you tune in. This is the electrifying stuff you see here.
Yep. It is electric. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Yeah, but Kevin, anything else before we get out here? I assume we kind of hit all.
No, yeah, I mean, the Orioles get their guy. I'm indifferent to it. I think it can be good. I also think it can be bad, which feels like a cop-out answer, but genuinely, like, would have been cool if it was Gallen or they traded for somebody or whatever, but a lot of those options are off the board. I mean, you still have a couple of ones like Gallen and a few other guys, but, if Bassitt can be a consistent fourth or fifth starter for you for 30 games, put up a 3.6, 3.7 ERA, then okay. Like, cool.
That's all you can really hope for. Like, you just got to hope for the best. Sorry, Kevin. I was looking at Ubaldo having a 3.
Yeah, you're all the way down that rabbit hole.
2013 3.3 ERA. Talk to him nicely, Kevin. Talk to the guy nicely. No wonder we were handing out money. But yeah, you just hope Bassitt's a guy. Like, and unfortunately, like, that's the good and bad part of this. He doesn't need to be the guy. He just needs to be part of the machine, part of the conveyor belt, hand one start off to the next. We've talked about it so many times, especially, I mean, this isn't really a young rotation anymore, but when you can pass the baton off, how many times is it the entire rotation is crapping the bed, and then later on the entire rotation, it feels like for 12 straight starts, they have like a 1.3 team ERA. Everyone is just firing on all cylinders. So it's another guy to hopefully keep things flowing. I trust him a whole lot more than I trust a lot of other guys that they sent out there last season. Get healthy with Eflin. Obviously, Boz, another year off Tommy Juan. Bradish, another year off Tommy John. This is where we're at. Like I said, I don't think they're making any other moves, especially in the starting pitching rotation. Probably going with the 6-man rotation. So this is most likely, give one last final good stare at it, most likely you're going to be your starting rotation heading into the season. And then we'll go from there. I think these 6 guys, if they stay relatively healthy, it's not sexy, but they can get you to the deadline where maybe you make a move for a top-end guy. But that's about it. I mean, the offense at the end of the day needs to show up still. Last year, they were the big disappointment. So it didn't matter even when the Orioles starting pitchers and bullpen, they give up 2 runs. In a game, we were losing 2-1 games, 3-2 games. If the offense shows up, that's why I added Ward. That's why I added Pete. Offense gets going. Hopefully guys get healthy. We're already saying guys get healthy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, Kevin, I didn't miss it at all. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But that's going to do it for this edition of Kevin and Zach React. Orioles signed Chris Bassitt to a 1-year, $18 million deal. Kevin and Zach React, I guess we'll be live all Oriole games, win or lose. We're less than a month and a half away from the 162-game marathon, Kevin.
Man.
But that's going to do it for this edition. We will be back soon if any other move happens, and then we will get word out to you all of any changes to the show, anything new we're starting, all of that shebang. But that's going to do it for this edition of Kevin Zach React. We'll see you next time. Ubaldo Jimenez.
Oh wow, yeah. I'll go with Fuji. Let's go with Fuji.
Oh, damn, I like your answer way better.